thing on? Is this thing on? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Marcial and the Blender Chit Chat, and I'm gonna be getting to know Mmasi. I made an order and it got here so quick. Hey, Mario or Vinia, I don't know which one of you is there. I made an order. What is going on? Good vibes. How do you do? I made an order and it got here super duper fast. And I mean, I'm not gonna be able to smell it today, but I asked Mmasi if she'd be available to do a live so that we could just chit chat, do the Marshall and the Blender chit chat. And I can get to know her, she can get to know me. But I wanted to take advantage of the moment also to show you guys something. So, together with the full bottles, what is going on, my friend? How are you feeling? I hope everything is going well. Hope everything is going well. I'm doing good over here in the Boogie Down Bronx. Oops. I guess I moved the tops. But this is what it comes with. It comes with a test me. Hey, Claudia. Oh, my goodness. I forgot to tell... I don't know how to do that thing where you send out, because you know this show. So let me tell you guys the premise, right? So these are the testers. You get the full bottle, but you get testers, and it says try me first. Try them before you actually open the full bottle and try the bottle. Hey, you're here. Awesome. Come on in. Come on in. Just waiting on. Oh, you have a live
Hi.
soon. Okay, Claudia. Awesome. So I'll zoom over to check your live out too. Thank you for letting me know. Hi,
Hey.
buddy.
How's it going? You can hear me?
Yes, yes, I hear you loud and clear, my friend. Mi amiga, ¿cómo estás? How are
Finally.
you feeling?
Muy bien.
Ah, yes. You get 100. You get 100.
That's all I knew. I took Spanish in high school, but it didn't stick. Languages
You know
don't
what?
stick for me.
What happened?
Languages don't stick for me. Like
They don't.
it doesn't stick for some reason. It probably sticks for you. Hi,
It
Tony.
does.
Hi, Claudia.
It does. It does. It does. Fortunately for me, it does stick. And that's because I come from a family that's plurilingual. You know, we speak English, Spanish, and Garifuna. My mom always had us watching shows in different languages.
Mm-hmm.
And what she would always tell us is, if you only speak one language,
Mm-hmm.
you are a slave to that one language.
That's
So she
true.
says you need to be free, learn as many languages as possible.
That's
So maybe I'm not able to be fluent in other languages, but like you, I learned phrases. You know what I mean?
right, right,
So if somebody says, Hola, ¿cómo estás? You know how to say muy bien.
right. Exactly. You know what's
You know what I mean?
so I do speak another language.
What
It's
language do you speak?
it's a Nigerian language. It's called Igbo. So I do speak that, but no one else speaks that. So it's not that useful when I'm not in Nigeria or amongst Nigerian people.
Uh-huh.
I should learn Spanish because in the hospital everyone speaks. Like in Harlem, I don't know, you know Harlem. You're from the Bronx. So
Everybody, yeah, everybody in Harlem speaks Spanish.
exactly. So I know
Everybody, like the funny thing about Harlem is you don't know who is, and everybody's Hispanic because they speak Spanish, right? But you don't know who is Latino.
exactly. Exactly. That's literally the issue. So I have all these patients. I'm using the translator, and the translator is holding me back because it takes like an hour to. And some of them are not no good. Like they don't know how to translate, um,
Yeah.
medical terms. So
Yes.
it's a hassle.
Because medical terms can be Greek or they can be Latin.
I see.
So, so they're pulled from different languages. So you have to kind of know where they're pulling from. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm excited.
I
So
was just gonna say, so Tony, Random Fragrances says it sucks when there's a couple of lives because I want to see both. But what I tell people is this live, the Marshall and the Blender chit chat, it's like a phone call. So it really is for me and Mmasi to get to know each other, have this
right.
conversation, and people are able to join in and observe the conversation. But I will, if Instagram lets me, how you say, share it, then I do get to share it. Absolutely. So Princess says her mom actually grew
Oh,
up in Nigeria.
I was gonna answer her. I was like, wow. So wait, Princess, are you Nigerian or just your mom travels a lot? Well, what's the story? I'll let her answer. But yeah, I was speaking of Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, but I came here when I was 4, so I grew up in New York.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm more Americanized than anything, but obviously, like I know the language, I know the essentials, but the culture is definitely different than what
Because
I'm.
you're like me. You're first century, first century, first, ¿cómo se dice? First, what is it?
It's not first.
Generation.
Is it first?
You're,
I thought first generation is when the child is born in this country.
oh, that's right, because you're born over
Yeah,
there
I'm
and
technically.
you came here. So your child is first
Yeah.
generation. So I'm
No,
first generation.
I feel like first generation.
You know what I mean? Essentially,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
In sentiment, you are first generation.
definitely.
In uh in strict definition, no.
Yeah.
Right? My mother, she's very fluent. I mean, fluent in English. Like, I get impressed how fluent she is. But it's because she's like, well, I'm like her. I was gonna say she's like me. I'm like her in that we like to read difficult information
Oh, okay.
and have our brain process the thought, you
Right.
know? And so that's what she did. When she got here, her father was an English teacher in Central America. Her mother was fluent in, oh, sorry, I think she answered.
Well, my ethnicity is Kashmiri from a country called. Is that in the Middle East? Ka- Kashmir is in the Middle East, right?
Kashmir. Yeah, I believe so. But my mom just grew up there. She grew up there. That's
Wow.
fascinating. That's fascinating.
I never
Hey,
knew
good
a lot of
vibes.
people who grew up in like West Africa who wasn't born there. Like it's usually like South Africa. They
Yeah,
oh, I grew up, my parents from South Africa. Like yeah, the like
that's awesome.
the tourist kinds of areas.
So I know that my ancestors are Nigerian.
Oh,
So the Garifuna, we're Nigerian ancestor, like definitely, like there's no question about it. I'm sorry, I'm cooking. So
okay,
like there's no question about it.
amazing.
And we speak Garifuna, which is definitely an African based language. Definitely. That you see what I mean by this is a phone call? It's a phone call.
Right. It's like a phone call. No, it's fine. It's
And so we speak it like, for example, to say hello, we say Ida Binya. To say goodbye, we say ayo. If we say see you tomorrow, Daria Ruga, you know. You want to say thank you, you say sereme. Now they have Americanized or Anglicanized it, and so now they say thank you,
oh
which is like thank you.
right, right. I never heard of that language before. It's in
Yes.
West Africa.
Well, it's a mixture because it's the Native American mixed with the African and some Spanish and some French
Right.
and all of that wonderful stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. I think it's valuable to be like multicultural because it's like the world is changing so quickly.
Yes, yes. And because having that multicultural exposure, you're able to flow with it. You know, you're able to flow with it. You're able to connect better. You
It's,
know, you have something in your own personal experience that makes you, and this is a power, I call it a superpower, right? It
hmm
makes you be able to sympathize and empathize in a way that a person that's not cannot. They
it's,
can't.
yeah. Unless
Tiwa. I always have to sing this when I see her name show up.
you
Tiwala
I
Day.
think, wow. So yeah, like this is it. Like what else you got for me?
Okay, so that was it was good. We got to find that out. What I would ask is how did you get into fragrance? Like what caused you to get into fragrance?
So I come from a family that's in the medical field, and we prioritize well-being and health and things like that. And my mom is a fragrance collector. She loves fragrances, and she it was her initial idea to do this, but she's more of an immigrant. She doesn't really know, like, it's different. Doing fragrances is not like doing starting a t-shirt business. So she came up to me and she's like, would you like to start this fragrance industry with a fragrance business with me? And I thought it was a good idea. And I, at the time, was also looking for something to get into.
Ya está, I'm sorry, ¿quiere comer ahora? ¿Se quiere servir o quiere que yo le sirva? Porque yo estoy hablando, mami, ella es de Nigeria. Hi, Mmasi. This is my mom, Elsa.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, what's your name?
Chiamaka. Oh, I didn't even say my name.
Chiamaka.
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 Elsa.
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 Nice to meet you. She's so cute.
Yeah, she's absolutely adorable. She got her booster shot today.
Oh, nice.
She's absolutely adorable. Yeah, she said you're so cute. She's Nigerian, Mom.
Oh, de ahí es la familia de mi mamá.
Yeah, she said it. Her mother's family's from Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Fortunately for us, the Garifuna, we didn't lose a lot of our history because we were never really, fortunately we weren't sold into slavery. So we were able to keep a lot of our information. And that's why the language was also able to remain, the food culture, everything, the dances, everything.
That's
amazing. Oh God, she says, she's gonna show you how we dance punta. Tigi taga, tigi taga, tigi taga, tigi taga. Hey, 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 hey.
That's so fun. I like that.
That's right, baby. That's right. Yeah. So fortunately, we were able to keep a lot of it. So the answer is yes. Chiamaka is Nigerian.
Yep.
Tiwa asked if you were Nigerian.
Oh, I can't even see the comments anymore. But yeah.
I know they get so hard to see. I know. I'm so sorry they do that.
Yeah.
So she said, my Igbo sister.
Oh, she's Igbo too, Tiwa?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that is awesome.
¿Qué fue eso? Okay, pero todo está bien. Okay, so I'm reading from una de las compañeras dice, good mom. So I'm reading from Trevor Noah's book.
Oh, nice. I like Trevor.
Yes. And so, but that's at night. That's for living with Marcial. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That was it. So I'm fascinated by that fact that the inception was your mom. Your mom was the one that came up with the idea. You mentioned T-shirts. Was that do you have a T-shirt thing going?
No. I was just giving it an example. So.
Oh, that is not as simple as T-shirts.
Yeah, it's not as simple. And like the fragrance industry, even to start, it took us about 3 years. Because it's hard finding the right perfumer, the right ingredients, also developing the brand. Like you see the brand, like it's everything for me, like I have to have everything make sense. So even the name of that's the artwork, and that artwork.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't told a lot of people, but that artwork is actually, it looks like topography, like of the sea, of traveling. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about? And
that's what I thought it was.
Right. That's a good guess. And it's supposed to represent the migration from like any country to America.
A diaspora of sorts.
And it was supposed to tell the
Shut your mouth. No way. No way. I love you even more, Chiamaka. Yeah. I love you even more. That is such a thought.
Yeah, because it's my story. Self-love, self-care, success in this country. It's the story of, I haven't finished the story because it's too much to tell. But
it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. And you are fortunate enough to have been born to parents who are conscious.
Right.
And live the moment, and have taught you to be conscious and live the moment.
Right, exactly. So it's Mmasi is a 4-story series. Into Me is supposed to be the first story. And then the second story is supposed to be when now you have self-love, now you stand out. So the next fragrance we do is going to be a lot more bold, a lot more unique. Because now Into Me wasn't supposed to be it's supposed to be something that was versatile. It was supposed to be something that wasn't too loud, definitely professionally oriented, because I'm a doctor. I'm in the medical field, so I didn't want things that would be offensive or too unique. I wanted something that, yes, had its own character, but can be versatile and soft. So that was
I
always
mean,
my goal.
true to the design,
Right.
this is
Exactly.
it's multifaceted, multifolded, because this diaspora or this migration that occurs is coming into
Right.
yourself, but you're also wanting to be able to come into other people
Right.
fragrantly, come into us, right? And hopefully help the person come into themselves.
Exactly.
So into me is an into you, but it's also an into me.
Right.
And it also reminds me of intimate,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know?
So the whole brand is supposed to be intimate. It's supposed to be vulnerable. Supposed to be common, and serene. Because this first stage in your life isn't meant to be loud. The stage of finding yourself is supposed to be in a journey that isn't necessarily that is just it's supposed to be a journey that brings you peace more than turmoil. And then after it, then you can, you know, go for that position that you want, go for that man or woman.
Face the turmoil. Then you can face the turmoil.
Then you can face the turmoil, and you can face it with confidence. So the next fragrance is supposed to be more about being bold. So the colors are going to be the same. We're always going to keep the same wave pattern, because Brandon, like I think of myself as a brand expert, even though I don't have like an official certificate, just because I've studied it for 3 years. And
Okay. Okay. There you go. So you're knowledgeable in that. And can I tell you something? This
what
is something I've always thought about.
what
Colleges. Who were the first teachers in college? Did they have doctorates and masters or bachelor? They
no
did not.
no
And they were the teachers. Gamaliel was, in his time, a noted lawyer. To say that you studied at his feet,
right
you were respected.
right
Did he have a doctorate? Did he have? No, he didn't.
right
Herodotus.
mm,
This is a man who is a historian, who his words are seen as Bible.
right
Did he have a doctorate in English or
right
history? No. You
right
know? But what it is that they knew what they were doing. You know what you were doing.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Because I don't do things unless I know what I'm doing, because I'm not like that. Sometimes I will, but it never ends well. At least for me, I can't wing my life. Some people can wing their life. Maybe it's because it's university, listen to God more. Maybe I need to listen to God more, but I have a hard time winging things. So yeah, I planned it for a long time before.
Good. That suits your personality.
It suits my
You
personality.
know, I'm a big person on it. Do what suits your personality. In Spanish, we say te luce. It looks good on you. It may not look good on somebody else, you know? Being,
On you, Chiamaka. No, no.
huh?
I said I'm talking to myself. I was like, being anal looks good on me.
Yes, it does, Chiamaka. Yes, it does. It may not look good on other people, but
I,
on you, it looks right. And don't let nobody try and make you change that.
yeah,
Because to try and change that is to try and change you. And listen, that journey that is still going, you don't know where it may change, but for right now, that's how you need to be.
exactly. Yeah.
That's how you need to be. Because if you're not like that, guess what? Then you're willy nilly. And you cannot be willy nilly
I
doing what you're doing.
right.
And my best friend is a doctor. He's a family doctor, and he is anal, and he has been able to flex and relax, but it took a lot of work. To a certain degree, I was his life coach, and I'm very proud of the work we've been able to do together. But I always told him, don't change that,
Right.
because that's what makes you a good doctor. The fact that he needs to know every nook and cranny and bend and fold of everything.
Right.
Some people criticized him, sabotaged his name, try to destroy him.
They probably wanted to be like him, because some people can't be that detail oriented.
They can.
I felt like going crazy sometimes. It's hard, but to your point about being flexible, as time goes on, I'm actually pretty flexible now, but that's because I know where I'm going. Does that
When you know where you're going and what is going on, then you are free to flex.
right? And
Because
then
you know how far you can flex and not break.
exactly. And then when opportunities come to you, you'll know the right opportunities. Like I know my brand mission, my
It'll
brand,
sound right.
right, exactly. Like I know what I stand for. Like I told you in that other live, I think I messaged it. I said I love collaboration. I really genuinely love collaboration because
Yes.
we talked about abundance. Like I feel so secure in what I have, even if someone else is better than me in terms of whatever someone else considers is better, whatever they define as better, it doesn't disturb me because I know we can always get better. I know that like, I'm going to come out with more scents. I'm going to come out with more products. So it's like, it's not the end of the story. Like we have like Mmasi, we want Mmasi to be here for years, decades. So we're not going to only have 2 products and we're not going to stay the same. So I just feel so confident that things will always work out that I never feel threatened.
Yes. Mmasi is going to be bigger than anything you thought. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it was incepted from a mom and it was passed on to her daughter.
Right.
Th- those kinds of things are so powerful that they're able to last.
Right.
They're able to last. And they're able to keep that line, that common line of strength while branching out.
Right.
So it's going to be fun to see how Mozzie branches out
I know.
in due time. In due time.
Yeah, it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be
Yeah.
everything is,
Yeah.
but it takes people think that when they see someone go viral on Instagram that it just happened like that for them. No, they've been doing content creation for 10 years.
Yes.
So people don't see that.
Yes.
See that, and then they have one good year or one good time, or
And
get
it opens the door.
opens the door. So that's how it works. You
Yeah.
go and you stay.
You said 3 years.
I know, and I'm just meeting all of you guys.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I built this for 3 years, and I'm just meeting all of you guys.
Mhm.
But
And then to
yeah,
the respect of you, your collaborative spirit and energy, I got to say you're 100% right because we literally just messaged. I just received your box. You just said, "Hey, your order's there," and I was like, "Hey, why don't we hop on and have a Marshall and a blender chit chat?" And you were like, "Okay."
yeah,
You know, that speaks volumes to who you are. You're genuine, you're sincere. And
yeah,
when you say you believe in collaborations, you believe in
yeah,
collaborations. And the other thing I like that you mentioned, which lets me know that you're a strong woman, a strong person, is that if a person is quote unquote better than, that's good for them.
right,
That's good for them.
right,
And it doesn't infringe, it doesn't affect, and it doesn't diminish who I or you
right.
are.
Because I have
Because that's their world.
right. Because we have
Their world.
a path, and you have a different path, Marcial. Everyone, all these influencers have a different path. Like I can start a YouTube video channel right now, but I personally won't do fragrance reviews, but I'll talk about. I know what I like to talk about. I like to talk about goals and self love and
Yes.
behind the scenes of the brand. So that's going to be my thing. That might not be someone else's thing. So it's just people. I feel like the more authentic people stay to themselves, the better or more they can achieve.
You know why? Because the person is solid.
Mm-hmm.
The person is solid. If you're able to stay true to yourself, you are solid. Your roots are deep,
Right.
So you are unbreakable and unshakable.
Right.
And that's been the same thing for me. When I was younger, I worried about people,
Right.
you know, and I keep that about me. That's something I have not changed. I have not lost it. To the contrary, it's part of my superpower. I care, but I would care to the point, and I always told myself, Marcial, when you're 32, you need to stop that. I would care to the point where I would deplete myself to make sure other people flourished.
Mm.
That's the nurturer in me. That's the nurturer in me. But I also knew that at 32, I would have to start nurturing me,
Right.
and I would have. And ¿cómo? ¿Lo quiere apagar? Okay, le bajo el fuego, ¿eh? Sereme. And so, uh, Spanish and Garifuna at the same time. And so, but that when I made that change, guess what? I was fine with that change. Other people may not have been fine with it, but that was okay. That was okay. The people who came to understand what I was doing and respect it, wonderful. The
Yeah.
people that didn't respect it and tried to sabotage my name, that was okay too, because that energy belonged to them.
Right.
It
And
doesn't belong to me.
right. And it helps you decipher like who it should stay and who shouldn't stay. And it's okay. Like, you know, sometimes you have to
You are not lying. It's like bye, bye, hello.
hi, where have you been all my life? No, seriously. Be surprised who steps up and who doesn't. But yeah, I just feel like when you're making a brand, a fragrance brand or a personal brand or anything, even kids, you have to define your values. Like you have to first start with your values. So like we value collaboration, value like honesty, we value hard work and even fun. You know what I mean? Like the colors you see are supposed to be like, you know, sort of like flirty and fun, you know, not too serious enough, but not too serious. So it's like everything sort of just fit together. It finally fit together.
Totally. Even the color that should be the more serious of the two
Mm-hmm.
has a little bit of fun in
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
you know? And then the one that would be the more fun one has some seriousness in, some matte to
right.
it. I love it. It's pretty balanced.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty balanced. And people are excited to try your fragrances. So I am going to try, when I make the episode, I have one to do with rosé tomorrow from Zaharov. I ordered from him. Like I said, this year I was going to be ordering from Indie, from, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I ordered two of his. Friday, hopefully I can order the other set because he has several flankers to the signature. And then, so after, what's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Friday I will pick one of the two and I'm going to use the testers. I'll use the testers and I'll do like what I did today with Zaharov, a full day wear. And I'm going to clearly purchase two more because I'm going to do giveaways with them. So what I do, I buy the fragrances and I give them away because I don't have a lot of space. Can you imagine if I were to keep all the fragrances?
Right.
So
Right.
I do random what's called Marshall's Blends fragrance random giveaways. So that I'll be doing some of that with them.
That means a lot, Marshall. All of you guys, this fragrance community, you guys do so much for the community, and like, you know, it just comes from such a authentic place, and I hope that doesn't change because I know the fragrance industry has changed over time. But
Right.
you guys stay because, especially for indie niche brands, you know. Yeah, and I know like for a fact, like when I have plans for I don't want to say too much, but I have plans for the fragrance industry where
Right.
we can all sort of collaborate and lift each other up. I don't know if that makes sense,
Right.
but
No, it does make sense. And I'll tell you something. You're on the same wavelength of George Zaharoff is one of those people.
right.
So is Emily. Do you know Emily, Shelter and Perfume? And Niles City Rhythm. They're
Right.
coming out with Heart Spark.
Yeah. So I am excited about Heart Spark, but
Yes.
I'm making an official announcement that I haven't announced yet. So myself and what's his name, Luke from
Yeah.
Element is gonna collaborate on a fragrance.
Shut your mouth.
Well,
Elemental Fragrance is another one that I'm going to be purchasing this year.
I'm gonna actually purchase it. I have to look at my statements, but I'm gonna because I feel like I need to slow down. But I'm definitely gonna purchase his next because I tried what's his name, Michael from For the Scent of Me.
Yes.
Michael, right? Well, anyway, so I tried his and
That's another one. If you were to see my notebook, what I've done is I've written down, and as I'm purchasing, I'm checking.
yeah, that's Forbidden Fig. I love it. Everyone thinks that it's like too herby, but I
Too aromatic. Too aromatic.
Yeah, maybe that's the word because it does come off a little like forest, has that forest like opening.
Which one's that one?
Forbidden fig
Who makes that one?
for the scent of me.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
That
okay.
warrior what's his something warrior and black sails um
Okay, yes, I've seen that. I've seen that.
yeah, so anyway, I purchased his and then I'm going to purchase elementals. But yeah, we're planning a collaboration, and this
That's gonna be so
collaboration,
exciting.
yeah, I'm very excited. I just didn't want to like announce it too soon because I know Emily and Niles
Nice.
thing. And I did get the idea from them in terms of collaboration, but
That's the beauty of it. We inspire each other. That's called teamwork.
right,
That's called teamwork. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. Listen, I've seen things that have inspired me, and I've seen people be inspired by me. You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And coincidentally, I am looking for a new perfumer because this product that I you have took, it takes 3 months to make. And
Right.
the customer service isn't that great. It's a high quality product and all of that, but it's the customer service isn't that great. It takes too
And
long.
if it's not great, you get turned off because even, you being a company, you are also a customer.
Exactly.
And sometimes companies forget that they forget that they still have to provide good customer service to the companies that are purchasing from them.
Exactly. So, because of all of that, I've been looking for a new perfumer. So the Luke collaboration just made sense.
That
And
is wonderful.
good. He's also in New York. He's in Brooklyn. So it makes a lot of sense.
That is wonderful. New York, stand up, baby.
I know. And the fragrance we're gonna make is gonna be oriented to New York. It's gonna be like,
Nice. I love that.
yeah,
I love that. I love that.
community based. So
Eh?
it's gonna be community based. So it's gonna be about
Yes.
bringing New Yorkers together in a way, but not
Yes.
New Yorkers, but anyone who can identify what New York has been through and what New York stands for.
Yeah. It's that New York energy. It's
That
that New York. I've always said that there are people born outside of New York that are New Yorkers.
exactly.
And when they get here, they're like, "Oh, I'm
I
home."
I'm home. Yeah, exactly. So we want to
My
build.
mother was born in a little town in Livingston, Guatemala,
Uh-huh.
but she is so New York.
Right, right,
She is just so New York. She's a sweetheart and she's so sweet and so, docile. She steps out of the apartment. She stays docile and lovely, but do not mess
right.
with her.
That's, no, it's true. It's true. But I went to school in Buffalo for a long time, and then Westchester, and I think after being there for so long, I came back. I still felt like it was home, but I definitely noticed like the change in me.
Yeah,
Because New York, when you're raised here, you're raised in a certain, walk fast, talk fast, don't look anyone in the eye.
in the
But
eyes.
Buffalo, and everyone is like, good morning, or, you know, just things are more slower paced. Then you're finally like
Yes.
at peace a little bit, but then you come back to New York and you just get right back into it. So,
You, you flow. I lived in Virginia for a while, and I tell people that one Virginia day equals 3 New York days.
right,
Listen, I worked 12 hours. I'd have to be at my job, the building itself, 4:30 in the morning. I'd work 5:30 to 5:30. I'd still get so much done before 8 o'clock. When I tell you so much done before 8 o'clock and be asleep at 9 o'clock.
wow,
In New York, the time it would have taken me to work the 12 hours and get all those things done that I did before 8 o'clock, it would have taken me 3 days.
yeah. If you're going outside, right? If you're going outside, yeah,
Yes.
or even inside.
Wow.
Oh no, it's a lot. You get distracted. Maybe that's why too. In college in Buffalo, there's no distraction, so you had to study.
Be able to stay focused. Stay
Yeah,
focused.
but imagine.
So I want to tell you also, I'm very proud of you because it's not a small feat to first off be born here and become a doctor, let alone come from another country and be able to become a doctor, and become a good doctor. a conscious doctor. So that speaks volumes to you as an individual, and also mom. You know what I mean? Because mothers are the nurturers. They're the ones that kind of incept the kind of brain we'll have, you know? And my friend, he has his story is different. I would love for him to join me, but he probably won't. But he was born in Belize in one of the most poorest and, violent areas, and education was the only thing he had. And through education, people would see his potential and they'd sponsor his schooling.
Wow.
And then, yeah, he was able to get government grants for college.
Right.
And he's a doctor now. And he used to live in Forest Yards, and now he lives in Forest Hills. So I said, you need to write a book and call it From Forest Yards to Forest Hills, because Forest Hills is a very nice area, you know?
Oh, yeah, Forest Hill in Queens, right?
Yes.
That's a really nice.
Yeah. So I was like, you need to write a book because it's inspirational. And when you hear, he tells his life story like nothing, Yeah, I was 4 years old having to carry cement buckets, to be able to provide for myself, because all his mother could do was provide him with a place to sleep and one meal. That was all she could do. She had a lot of kids in this situation. So he had to work for whatever else he needed, for pens, pencils, school clothes, shoes. He had to provide for himself. But for him, it's like, nah, that's just life. That's how it was,
Right. Right. You know what's crazy when you bring that up? Like, so growing up, my dad came here first to this country, and he got an education and then did like pharmacy school. Not liked it, but he did pharmacy school, became a pharmacist. But during that time, that transitional phase, and even after, when he became it, he never raised us in a way of privilege. Like, my mom had 5 other kids, so 6 kids total. And I think at one point we lived in like a 1-bedroom apartment, and then eventually we got like a house. But even then, my dad wasn't giving us money. There was no like, oh, buy Jordans or buy expensive clothes. He gave us the, and I don't know, because I still, to this day, I wonder, like, did he have money or did he not have money? But the point I'm trying to make is he never taught us to, just get things for free. Like, I was working since I was probably since I was 10, because, or younger, because I was the one, even though I'm the 5th youngest.
Okay.
So even though I was the 5th youngest, by the time I was 8 years old, I was the one cooking for everyone, doing the laundry. You would see me, like, I was tall, so people probably thought I was older, but you would see me like just doing everything on my brothers, just, I don't know what they were doing. But basically what I'm trying to say is,
I understand. What you're saying is that even though they had come here, he had a career, a profession. He didn't raise you the typical American way, which is you get your kid everything, that is, what that is. And fortunately, a lot of us have had that kind of upbringing, and a lot of us haven't. But what happened there is that even though y'all were here in the United States, the mindset did not change.
The mindset did not.
Mindset did not change.
The mindset did not change. And even now, his mindset hasn't changed. I think if he could go back and do it over again, he would do the same thing.
He would do it the same way. He would do it the same way, because that's how he knew to be a dad.
Yeah.
For example,
I gave him a hard time for it.
You were like, my friends don't have to do this.
I was going to say that. I was like, what is going on? Like, my friends has this, I don't have this, and then like during like holidays, I would ask for books. That's what he would spend $300 on books before he spent $300 to give me money to do my like that.
Because that's where the value is.
Value is. So
they did a good job. They're a good team. They're a good team. Princess Mira says that she can totally relate.
Oh, who?
She says, my family came here from out of the country for a better education, and they taught me to be independent on my own feet, to have a good life in the end.
Right.
That's what Princess Mira says. Yeah. Same thing over here. So I am first generation, but I always tell people I grew up thinking I was from Central America.
Mm-hmm.
So we are growing up 8, 7 years old. You learn how to wash with the restregador, which
Right.
is the tabla. It's like, yeah, we had a washing machine,
We don't. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you had to wash your clothes with the scrub. It's like a scrubber,
Yeah.
It's the old school. People from this generation may not even know that it existed,
It's like a
but there was.
chaser. It looks like a chaser.
That's it. The board.
The board. Yeah.
That's what we would use to wash our socks, wash our underwears, wash our shirts, and sometimes even our pants. We'd have to wash it like that, you
Right.
know. And for me, it was natural and normal. And then when I went to my friend's house, I'd be like, "Hey, where's your restregador?" And they would be like, "The what?"
Right. Yeah. No, that's the. We used to use. I don't know if you have ever seen this, but there's a broom. It's like a stick broom.
Yes,
A broom without a handle. It's just made
we
of,
use that in Honduras.
and you wrap it the end, and you. So I used to get on my knees and like broom the whole house.
Aha.
That I was so, and then when I found out that like you could have had vacuums for like probably $100 or less, I was mad at first, but then I think like you said, it makes you stronger and it makes you
It
appreciate
makes you better.
more.
You are enriched by it. My mother used to tell us, she says, everything you see here, we didn't have in Guatemala.
Yeah.
And she made sure that we understood. It was a wooden house with the plant roof,
Right.
you know. One room was the living room and kitchen. One room was the bedroom for 11 kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so she says, television? What television? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it impressed upon me to appreciate
Right.
what, even if it's a little, and it taught me also not to care about what other people had, because that was good for them.
Exactly.
I'm happy that they had it. I'm happy with what I have. You know,
Yeah. I'm definitely grateful because it gives you perspective. So
gives you perspective.
there's a book that I haven't read called The Unfair Advantage. And this book,
Your
uh,
advantage.
Unfair Advantage, and basically you can read it, but it basically says that we all have an unfair advantage. So, for example, just being an American gives you, or being in America is an unfair advantage. And a lot of
Mhm.
people might think that it's not because of a lot of the issues that's going on, like sexism and the what they're trying to do with DACA and like all these other things. But when you go to other countries, like when you like I said, perspective, right? When I visited Nigeria, I came here when I was 4, but I went back twice. So
Yes.
I went back when I was old enough to kind of understand what was going on and
Yes.
poverty. I didn't see phones. I didn't see electricity half the time. Sometimes we didn't have clean water. So when you think about that and you come to this country and you have all these things, it almost seems like, why am I not doing more?
Right.
You know,
Right.
it makes you feel like, why aren't you doing more? Like every time I want to complain about like, oh my God, I have to do this. Because I work 70 to 80 hours and I have to come home.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to come home and fulfill packages. And every time I want to like feel like, complain, I remember that there's people that would die, who would do this, who would die to do this in other
That
countries.
is their dream.
Their
That is their dream. And there are other people who couldn't even fathom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like their life situation doesn't even allow them to fathom
Mm-hmm.
half of what you're doing,
Yeah.
half of what you're achieving. You
Yeah.
know? So being able to appreciate that reality, it solidifies your appreciation.
Yeah.
You know, it solidifies it. And you're able to hold on to that appreciation tighter than a lot of other people would because you're conscious of it. I have to sing Latifa, 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 Latifa.
Unless I,
She's
oh,
there.
oh my God, now I see a lot more people. But yeah, So that's basically where a lot of my motivation comes from. But I also think it's a personality thing too. I don't think you have to be born from another country to be highly motivated. There's people who just have that fire in their belly. They just
Yeah.
they just can't, it's kind of like that movie Self-Made with that woman, that kind of woman,
Yes.
that those people exist anywhere in the country.
I
Or
have friends in Wisconsin who are generations here in the United States, and the way they work, you would think that they just arrived from somewhere.
right.
And these are white Americans, but you would think the way that they work, the way
Right.
that they hustle, they're like, and so with him, I learned a lesson that I never had thought about. So I was working construction.
Mm-hmm.
His father-in-law owns a construction company. He was like a manager or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked the full day, was happy. It was my first time doing construction. Comes to pick me up, and he says, "Hey, so what's going on? How do you feel?" He's expecting a city boy, and I was like, "I'm okay. I feel good." He was like, "You're not tired?" I was like, "No, I'm not tired. I'm okay." He goes, "Good. Be tired at home," is what he says. When you're working, you never be tired at work. Be tired at home.
Right.
And so when we get to the house, because I was staying at they had a little cottage, right? So I'm staying there. What does he do when he gets home? He works on his house. He went up to the roof,
Right.
started painting with an aggregate. And I was like, this man just came from working. He told me, be tired at home. When he gets home, he gets to work. And after he was done working on the exterior of the house, he goes downstairs, takes a shower, spends time with his wife and kids.
Wow.
And I was like, be tired at home doesn't mean you have to be tired at home. You can be,
Right.
but get home and get to work.
Right. You know,
So I like that.
yeah, you make a good point because um so I've been through a lot of mindset change. My mindset in the beginning was work, like you said, like if you're working for someone, no matter what, just be the best, work hard, work long, be the first to get in, first to last to leave. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
working for other people makes me a little uncomfortable. But I can say that because I've gotten to that point. I mean, I'm still a resident physician and I'm going to be done in 6 months, but even as a resident, taking orders from other people now makes me uncomfortable because, but you can't, it takes time to get to that point. Does that make sense? Like, I've invested so much into other people, into other, into working for others. And now that I have this brand that for me, I want to use it to make a social impact as well as sell the fragrances and use the money from the fragrances at the end of it all to make more of a social impact once we get to that level.
That is very significant.
Yeah. So now, because I have this meaningful thing I'm doing, it makes me uncomfortable to work for other people for a long time. So at one end, so when I give advice to future business owners, because I know some people are in here, like Abby is a business owner, but she doesn't need advice because she's killing it. But but when I give advice to younger business owners or people who are thinking about it, I always tell them like, or people who are thinking about it, not the people who have it already. I always tell them like, work hard at your job, get so that you can be, gain that skill, be respected, get more financial stability, and then do your thing on the side as well. I can't explain it, but it's
No,
you
I'm
kind
letting you get to the point because I know the verbiage. I know exactly the verbiage you're looking for.
of. I think
So
you can't. You have to crawl before you walk. You have to crawl before you walk, and in a strategy standpoint, you sort of have to work doing things that will benefit you in the future, even if you're working for someone else. So if for an example, that one day you want to get into real estate, maybe the best thing to do is work a job where you're learning skills as a real estate intern or something related to real estate or finance or business, or You know what I mean? Even if it's Wall Street, right? It might teach you certain things that you can transfer into real estate. So that's the best option. But even if you don't have that option, even if you're working in McDonald's or like I used to camp when I was 15, I used to walk around the street in the rain, snow, heat, and canvas for, you might not like him, Mayor Bloomberg. I used to canvas,
I
but
have no.
I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even care. I knew that this was paying $10 an hour, and I wanted to go door to door and canvas. And
Yeah.
and it was honestly at that time, being 15, that was the best job. $10 an hour.
Education. You got education and experience.
Exactly, because now I can sell things to people in ways that I wouldn't have been able to. And when people slam the door at me or don't
You
respond,
learn to not take it personal.
take it personal. So everything will teach you something. It really will. It doesn't feel like that at first, but if you let it, it will teach you something. So if you're starting out in just life and you're working, just take it all in, have your goals, and like you said, the guy who comes home and works on his house, be that kind of guy, because that's what I did. I would plan for something that I didn't even know was going to happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a logo 3 years ago, and you don't even know for sure that this was gonna. I knew for sure, of course, that's why I was doing it, but
But
like
you didn't know the specifics.
I didn't see it, right? There was no product, there was no sales. You were just doing a logo, spending 3 months trying to, and it started as a fish. The logo started as a fish because that was the fish is
Shut up.
in the middle, yeah. If you look in the middle, before the wings or the M, it was a fish. No,
Oh, this here, this.
yeah, the logo, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Looks like a ribbon, but the design started as a fish because that was the origin of God, of mankind, right?
That's the tail.
And the symbol of God, the beginning. But
That's the tail?
no. Well, it started as a fish and it turned into a ribbon. Like you just
Oh,
know regular fish,
yes.
like the simple black and white fish,
Yes.
frying, not without the fins.
Right.
Kind of looks like, I can't explain, like a ribbon. That's
Yes.
that's what it
Yes.
started, and then we added more to it, and then
Wow.
yeah, so
That is so fascinating. Chiamaka. Chiamaka. I love your name, Chiamaka. You know, so what I appreciate and take from what you were saying,
hmm
and I believe this because that's been my experience. By the time I was 23, I probably had 78 jobs,
right,
right? And it was something that I was criticized for. And honestly, I never felt bad. The people would say, oh, you can't do that. You're supposed to stay at a job until you retire. But I always believe that I need to be where I feel healthy.
right,
And if I'm in an area that is causing me turmoil, you know, I knew that if the turmoil was internal,
hmm
and the job was just stirring it up, okay, eventually I'll be mature enough to be able to deal with a job like that and not feel turmoil, internal turmoil, because I'll have taken it out,
right,
you know?
hmm
But if the job was causing it, I still would have to leave.
right,
And but every single job that I took has led me to where I am today
right,
as a
right,
human being.
right,
I'll give you an example. Payless. I left a job that was paying really good and took a job at Payless that was paying me a third of what I was making at the other job.
hmm
But at Payless, I learned a lesson
hmm
in customer service and I apply it to life. So I would give great customer service. You know, I'd take care of the person, smile, and once they left, my face would go back to this. So, which is okay. Inside, I'm still happy, but my face, my grandpa always says, because I'm Honduran, half Honduran, the Honduran Garifuna face is always sad or mad, you know? And so my manager tells me, hey, you have awesome customer service. The people love you. But I noticed that when you're done, your face goes sour. She said, try and keep the smile. I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, next time I'm going to tell you. So fine, I take care of the person. And she says, there it is. And I was like, shut your mouth. So I learned to keep the smile,
Wow.
to keep the smile. And it would be wrong if I was keeping the smile to fake or for other people. Not wrong, but it wouldn't be genuine, right?
Right.
If I was doing it for other, but that is how I feel. And I didn't know that I wasn't transmitting that.
Oh, I see.
And so then after that, that was 20, I was 23, I'm 43 now.
Right.
Now, at most of the time you see me walking, I naturally have a smile now.
Wow.
Because that lesson taught me sometimes your face is showing contrary to what you're feeling.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's an amazing story. So it's like that one job taught you that, but like, look, but you've held on to that for this.
Yes.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Some people, it takes them one job to learn something that they need to learn. It takes one experience to learn. It takes one comment for them to learn.
Yes.
Yes. 20 comments for them and 20 jobs.
And then finally, it's broken the wall of ignorance. And finally, the 21st time it's said to them, it goes in. The other thing that you mentioned, and I appreciated it, and it's absolutely correct. You're supposed to be feeling that way now. You said, I don't like working for other people
anymore. Yeah.
Anymore. And you're supposed to feel that way because what's happening, you're in what's called a transition period. You're in a transition period. A job has a purpose.
Right.
A career has its purpose.
Right.
A career is what you do for life because it is your life.
Right.
A job is what you do to support yourself.
Right.
So this lesson I learned at 18, the college teacher said, a job is supposed to support your career until, and you know where I'm going, until your career can support you. Right. So you are in that transition from job supporting career and career now supporting you.
Right.
So you're supposed to feel that way. Someone asked the question, what does Mmasi stand for?
It means beauty from God. So the
beauty from
the
God.
fish logo was supposed to be like a symbol. Let me look it up right now. But the fish is a symbol, of God, and like the beginning of humanity and just where everything started. So it's like our beauty is not reliant on even fragrances, right? It's reliant on just if you believe in the universe, or God or a higher power.
I do. I believe in a creator.
Yeah,
I believe in God. Yeah.
Bigger than you, that's within you, but also bigger than you. So that's so yeah, I think it is. I don't see it here, but the Christian fish is like a fish.
When you were saying that, I was thinking about that. Because I remember seeing that. Yeah. And so that was kind of the idea behind it.
Right.
And it's beauty. Mmasi is beauty from God.
So you see it?
Okay, now lower the camera a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yes, I've seen that before.
You saw my dirty room too, but whatever.
No, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Creative minds. Listen, creative minds.
It's really.
So Latifa, my dear, she is Nigeria. She is Igbo. She's Igbo.
The G is Igbo.
Huh?
It's IGBO, but the G is silent.
It's silent, so it's Igbo.
Igbo, yeah.
Igbo. Okay, thank you.
In my last name, there's a G after the A, and the G is silent, so it's Aba. AGB, so it's Aba.
Yeah. So the G is silent in Igbo.
Yeah, basically.
Wonderful.
Like, why does it exist? It's probably not silent.
Same thing in English, thorough, through, it's the same thing.
Right.
That's little things like that, I've always said, show that there is a connection. Right. There is a connection. Those are not coincidences. If you go back 3,000 years, 4,000 years, English and Igbo probably have the same root language. Right.
Right. We're
I
all,
believe that.
yeah, we really are all connected. And
We're all connected.
that's what
Just the stories have been marred or burned, you know.
right. And that's what I try to show in my brand, because even the brand itself went through a transition. To be honest, the brand was, I I was trying to, so this whole message of self-love, right? I think that sometimes the people who need to hear, I think everyone needs to hear it the most. Everyone needs to hear it because we all have our own internal struggles. But because we started the brand kind of around the time of like, Black Lives Matter and all the stuff that was happening, I felt like the people who needed to hear it the most about self-love was actually people of color. Because there was just a lot of negativity, a lot of, you know,
There was a lot of hate, external hate
that
being inflicted upon.
and that could be internalized, and I was worried about that. So I was like, you know we really need to kind of not internalize any of that and love ourselves so that we can love each other, because that's also
Mhm.
another issue.
It'll serve as a shield. It'll
Right.
serve as I'm gonna say the repellent of that hate, right? So whatever was internalized, it'll repel it from inside out. That
Right.
love will repel that hate from inside out and
Exactly.
also serve as a shield.
Yeah, and then lastly, it could bring people together, right? If you Because when you love yourself within, it's easier to show even people you don't love.
Yes.
But if you
Yes.
don't love yourself within, it's not going to be easy to show anyone you don't like love.
The
It's
golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would want to be done to you.
not.
The other thing that Jesus taught was to love your neighbor, right? And also love your enemy. And one thing that I appreciate from his lessons, his teachings, is that he says, if you love somebody that loves you, what's the big deal? But if you love somebody that is hating you, then that's power.
Right.
You know,
The
then that's
hard
power.
power. Yeah. So now the brand really is teaching, because I think this message everyone needs to hear, because
Mhm.
ultimately, even the people who are hateful, sometimes they struggle with self-love.
Hmm.
So that's,
That's why. That's why they are hateful because
yeah,
they don't know how to love themselves.
right,
You know, and because they don't know how to love themselves, how are they going to be able to love somebody else? How are they going to be able to show affection if they can't? They don't even know how to process someone showing them love or giving them that affection. So it's a whole process. Hey, John.
right. So yeah, even Mmasi has been through a transition since we launched in February. We've been through a transition in terms of, and always the transitions are always dependent on the leader, right? The leadership of the brand. So yeah, it's my transition too. So in my mindset, like, we really are, this message really everyone needs to hear. Everyone.
That is awesome. Mazi, this has been a wonderful phone call.
Hmm.
I did not think I always come into these Marshall and a Blender chit chat phone calls not expecting anything.
Right.
But I love it when there is a connection.
Hmm.
You are my cousin. Okay, you are my cousin, and I can't wait to be able to do some giveaways. So I'm gonna be doing a few giveaways after I've aired the episode, and I can't wait. I can't wait because I've heard a lot of good stuff. I've read a lot of good stuff, but I let my nose be the one that tells me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like I said, we're gonna have a lot of cool things coming up, so I'm excited. Yeah, I'm just really excited.
And I'm so happy and thank you. And I'm gonna say so. I want to say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Right, that means so much from the heart. Thank you for having shared that wonderful announcement and having done it with such a genuine, sincere heart. Because, yes, there is abundance. And yes, the fragrance community is very caring. But also, you wanted to make sure look, I'm not trying to step on any toes,
Yeah,
but this is happening. And yeah, we were inspired. And that's how it's supposed to be. We were inspired by other indie fragrance
right. Collaboration.
families joining together to
Right,
create something for the community.
right, right. So yeah, this collaboration that I'm gonna have with Luke, it's not, I will say this, I'm very creative. So my creations will always it's gonna stand out, it just will.
Yes.
But we'll have our own Facebook page for it. So a
Okay.
lot of or Instagram page, I mean, so it won't be all on our page. But yeah,
Right.
my creations do stand out. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
I'm so excited. And can I tell you something?
Well,
So I worked with a teacher. I used to be a teacher's assistant for almost 20 years. And I worked with a teacher. I'm trying to remember, she may have been Igbo. There's Igbo and there's another,
Yoruba.
Yoruba. She was Yoruba. And with her, I learned that it's okay to be confident in the quality of work that you are and you can produce.
Right.
You're supposed to be confident.
Yeah, you're supposed to be.
You're supposed to be,
Yeah.
because what that means is you have done quality assurance within yourself.
Right.
And
It,
you know that what you're putting out
right.
represents you,
Right.
but it's also a benefit to the people who receive it.
Right. But it's also important to listen to feedback, right? Like I did a lot of surveys, I asked a lot of questions. Now that I know what people are looking for, it's gonna be something different than what we had before. But remember what Into Me was about. Into Me was never supposed to be loud. It was supposed to be work friendly. It was supposed to be like my journey towards peace and
Yeah,
happiness. But
yeah,
when you talk about confidence, sometimes confidence is bold, colorful, it's steadfast, and
yes.
that's going to be seen in the subsequent launches. So and then like it's so I don't like, basically going back to the whole thing, I don't like people who are confident but delusional. And I see this a lot
Right.
when I try to do business with other people. I see people who will make all these promises, and then when I ask them a few core questions, they can't answer it, or they can't deliver, and or they don't want to take feedback. So there's a lot of like pretense going on sometimes.
I
Um,
like that you said that. Confident but delusional. So they're like, yeah, I'm the best and I
yeah,
can do this, I can do that. And then you say, okay, so how do you
how
do that?
how do
And they're like,
and then sometimes they tell you how, but it's like basic. But it's like my level of expectations, because I've studied this
yes,
so long, my level of expectations are higher. Um,
yes,
like if I wanted to write a blog right now, I'm probably gonna. It's gonna. If I wanted to hire someone to write a blog for me right now, it's gonna be really hard. I've been trying to actually find someone to write a blog for me, and it's been very hard because
yes,
I know exactly what I'm looking for. And when I tell them, okay, these are the parameters, these are the keywords that I need you to use or search for, it becomes
yes.
overwhelming for them. Or maybe I'm not paying them enough. But either way, um, when we're doing something, you kind of have to do it with your audience in mind and make sure that you're giving quality. And they might not like it, but you always still want to give quality, you know. Put your
Yes.
forward. Yeah.
Someone was asking, your name is spelled Chiamaka?
Yeah.
Chiamaka. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I like that. I like that.
yeah. So yeah, that's one of our core values. Quality, giving people quality, even in conversation. Like when I'm talking to people, I always try to help people, and people
Yeah.
might say, "Oh, you're helping people." My mom always tells me this: "You help people too much," and I'm like, and you gotta. She's always like, "You gotta keep things to yourself," and I'm like, I'm just. It doesn't. It's not gonna stop me. I don't understand. It doesn't matter.
As long as, and I get it, because you're in a place where it you can deplete some and bounce back. It's
True.
about the bounce back. And that's why I say, for me, up until 32, I knew I could deplete and bounce back. After 32, I knew that my life's situation, there would be very little room for bounce back, because I would have a lot more responsibilities, you know? So
Hmm.
when you have a lot more responsibilities, that bounce back isn't as springy. You know what I mean?
Right. So what's your goals then? What are your
So
goals?
essentially, thank you very much. I appreciate that question. So my goal now is to retain this level of human being that I am.
Wow.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Why? Because it took 40 years, 40, maybe 42 years to get here,
Right.
you know? And I know I'm only going to get better.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means I want to be able to keep my mom, alive as long as possible.
Right.
I want to be able to enhance other people's lives
Right.
as genuinely and as solidly as possible.
Right.
And so those are my main goals. The reason why I am the way I am now is because a lot of my life goals I was already able to reach. So at this point in my life, everything is just frosting.
Right. That's
Everything is frosting. And my goals have never been monetary. They've always been spiritual goals, and they've always been, internal goals. And I can say, thank God, thank my mother, and certain experiences in life, I've been able to reach them and surpass them. I've
right.
been able to enhance people's lives on different continents. I've been able to help people become better people in just one conversation. That's the kind of human being that
Right.
I wanted to be, and I'm grateful that I am. So now the job is to retain that, to keep it, make
Right.
it stronger, make it more solid. You can
Right.
always become more solid. You can always grow in love.
Right.
Love is like the universe. It expands.
Right.
There's no limit. So that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? So the rest of my life right now is frosting.
Wow, that's a good mentality to have because we really need to be grateful. Um,
Yeah.
we do need to be grateful. Um, yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you so much, though. That was a very good question. No one has asked me that question in a long time.
I,
Once you reach this age, people don't ask you what are your goals, but I'm always conscious of the goal. That's the other thing. I'm always focused on my goal,
right.
you know?
Right.
Every day I wake up, I'm focused on the goal. Before I go to sleep, I'm focused on the goal, you
Right.
know?
Right. That's what you have to do. Be focused on the goal and have goals that are meaningful in terms of, yeah. Like Mmasi is really not, if this was just about money, I would just be a doctor, right?
Yes. Yes,
You
because
know?
as a doctor,
But
you can do 3 different gigs and be making millions of dollars and call it
not,
a day.
not millions. We're
Well,
still working
listen,
unless you're a
for a guy like me, yeah, it's millions.
unless you're a neurosurgeon. But I'm not making millions now. I'm a resident. But residents are not making residents
Right.
hour are making minimum wage or less.
Right.
Less than minimum by hour. So if
Yes.
what they do is kind of like abuse. You work
It
80
is abuse.
you work
It
80
is.
hours a week, but then you get paid one sal like 50 or $60,000
Yes.
on where you live. Um
Yes.
and you work 80
But it's
hours.
like boot camp. It's like boot camp because
Yeah.
if you're able to make it through, then
Yeah.
when you're working regular, it's gonna be almost not like nothing, but you'll be able to
Right.
handle that stress.
Right.
It's boot camp. It's
Yeah.
boot camp. So that's fascinating. Wait a minute. So as you're going through that boot camp, you are doing this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are a solid woman.
Thank you. But it's a lot. That's why my
Yeah.
room is a mess because it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's all about like making the right decisions sometimes and planning. You plan. I started planning in medical school
Okay.
now, and then we launched it during the pandemic. So
Yes.
it's just a lot of planning.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. And
Thank.
hopefully we'll be able to do the live that will be with the Marshall's Blends fragrance random giveaway.
Okay.
Someone said kudos. Kudos to you, Chiamaka.
Thank you. I don't know. I can't see who said that. I can't see the.
That's Latifa. Latifa said
Oh,
that.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been a good
Okay.
live. I know you probably have stuff to do, but yeah,
Well,
let
yeah. Well, listen, I take care of my mom. Okay, so just a quick, we
what?
are so African. It's like, we said bye like how many times, right? So,
Okay.
but that's the thing. You saw how she was able to dance.
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. So
Wow.
2017, she had two strokes. The first one removed the right side of her vision, so she can't see from the right side.
Wow.
The
Right.
second one basically killed her. Fortunately, my cousin was able to, she noticed she was having a stroke,
Right.
drove from Queens to the St. Barnabas in the Bronx, ran through lights and everything.
Right.
And I say, thank God, nobody stopped her, no cops, no nothing.
Yeah.
She was able to get there. And because it was within the 4 hour thing, and this is so
Or
important for anybody who's having a stroke, you
yeah.
know that within the 4 hours, there's TPA that they can give
Yep.
to the person that stops the stroke and reverses some of it. So my mother was in the intensive care for about a month and a half.
Wow.
When she got out of the intensive care, she had to stay at my aunt's house for another month. And so when whatever had to be done so that she can come back to her apartment was done, I literally stopped my job. I stopped my job. I was working as a doorman, beautiful building, great people, great
Right.
benefits. But the my siblings, the way that we scheduled it out, it wasn't going to work out. And I always told myself, I'm going to be the one that takes care of my mom. You
Yeah.
know, I remember being like 6, 7, saying that to myself.
Yeah.
And so for me, it
No.
wasn't even a question. I let the people know. I said, look, Monday's my last day. I will not be coming back after that. And they understood. They understood. And so little by little, doing research, holistic and working with the doctors and, xanthocin, which is wonderful for pain and the heart, and raspberries, which are good for the brain. Let me tell you, within 3 days of starting that regimen, my mother was up doing her little exercises. You
Wow.
know,
That's impressive.
within 6 months, where she had to go see the doctors again, they were impressed on her progress.
Yeah.
And today, you saw her dancing. This is a person who was not supposed to be able to dance, not supposed to be able to speak, not supposed to be able to,
Right.
you know what I mean? But
Right.
thank God and thank the doctors,
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
that's amazing, and that's probably something, if God forbid something ever happened to my mom, that's probably something I would do too, and without a question.
And you would be happy doing it.
I'll be happy doing it.
You would be happy doing it
Yeah.
because you know it's the right thing and you know that they've earned that respect. They've earned that dignity.
Right.
They deserve it, you
Right.
know? They deserve it. And nobody can do it the way you will do it,
No, nobody can do it. That's the problem.
you
You
know?
pay a lot of money, but even then, it's money. It doesn't always be equal
Yeah.
service.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't. Nobody would have cooked for my mom the way I cooked. And
Yeah.
I'm talking even my siblings. That was how come, some of them got offended when I left my job because they took it personal. Oh, he's saying that we're not good enough. I'm not saying that you're not good enough. What I'm saying is that you have a life. My sister's married, 5 kids.
Yeah. My sister too.
5 kids.
Yeah.
My younger siblings, there was, I was like, I'm in a situation where I can do it.
When you
And
can.
I prepared my heart for this, you
Right.
know?
That's a good statement. Yeah. You gotta be prepared. You gotta be prepared for something because it's hard. It's hard.
Latifa says, Latifa says, in our family, you start saying bye an hour before you leave. Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because we're supposed to get off. But yeah. That's amazing story. That's a
Listen,
story.
I can tell you that I love you from the heart of my heart. And that
Oh
is genuine. That is sincere.
yeah. I love you the
Okay.
first time I met you in the
Oh,
live.
thank you.
I was like, who is this? And I was like, it was so much fun watching you speak, your energy, everything. Amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Big hugs to the family. Send
Thank
them from my mom and me and from the blenders here. Big hugs to your family. Okay. Let
thank you.
them know. Please tell them the blenders send our love.
I will. I will. And everyone who watched this live, thank you so much for staying and make sure to share it. Thank you so much, Marciel. I'm glad you got your package. I'm looking forward to another live and the giveaway that you've been so gracious to. And I will say, guys, that Marciel brought these fragrances. It wasn't a gift, and I'm very thankful for that. So, from the bottom of my heart. And that's it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.